Okay, guys, as the song goes, it's the end of the world as we know it, but we are feeling fine. Welcome back to the Politics Podcast after a week of chaos, of mayhem, of protests and of pepper spray. Welcome back to the Politics Podcast. Yes, it has changed Ireland. Last week has changed Ireland for the better because so many people have woken up. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Last Tuesday, hauliers, farm contractors, farmers, taxi men, bus drivers, anyone who's involved in transport or buying fuel of any kind took to the streets. Some blockaded refineries, some blockaded the docks, and the O'Connell Street in Dublin was closed down. Now, 5 days and 5 nights, these men and women braved the elements. I took part in 2 go-slows here in our local town, Sligo, and it was absolutely fantastic. And the mood is fantastic, and the mood is joyous, and everybody is united. Yes, even we had people from the north, truck drivers from the north coming down join us. We have a united Ireland on this issue. On the issue of carbon tax, that's all the protesters want. They want to axe the tax. It's very, very simple. And if you were in government and you had to put up with all the protests last week and all the complaints I'm sure they were getting from their constituents about being held up in the traffic, well, you would have simply had a meeting with all your many advisors that cost God only knows how many millions. You would have had a simple meeting and you would have said, yes, make an announcement to the nation. The axe has now been taxed because we have listened to you guys. But no. They scrambled and they had meetings and they came up with a thing last night, a package of tax rebates for the hauliers and the farming contractors and the farmers, and a measly 10 cent for the ordinary person on the street who has to pay over €2 for a litre of diesel and petrol. 10 cent. And a promise that they wouldn't rise the carbon tax next month, but they will leave it till October, till we're coming into winter and we really need things to be dropped because we're using the fuel and the heating more. But no, they are going to raise the carbon tax in October. So who is advising our government? Who is advising them that that was the answer? Because it has failed. And I heard the protesters call it an insult. And it is an insult. And the go-slows are back on again, even in my own local town here on the dual carriageway, they are back on again. And I'm presuming they're back on in the rest of the country. But it was the way the whole week has been handled that is the biggest scandal here. It's not the protesters holding people up on their journeys. There are back roads, you know, if you really have to get somewhere, there are such a thing as back roads that you can go on. That's not the scandal. The scandal is the way the whole thing was handled. We had crazy scenes in Galway. Riot squad bought into Galway and men thrown aside, men on the ground, hardworking men, just trying to get a message to the government in the way that we are constitutionally allowed, which is peaceful protest. But that wasn't good enough for the government. They sent the riot squad down. Throwing men on the ground, dragging them off. In O'Connell Street, waking the men and women that had stayed the night in their tractors, in their cabs. Imagine how uncomfortable that was for 5 days and 5 nights. But they didn't even have the decency to wait till daylight. They got at 4 and 5 in the morning, banging on their cabs, waking them up out of their sleep, telling them to move it, or we're going to confiscate your machinery that you need to get to work. This is all crazy. The craziest week our country has ever had. And it looks like it's set to continue. So it was a peaceful demonstration of people power. And that's exactly what they didn't like, the government. That's exactly why they sent the riot squad out. They don't like people power. They just don't like it. And then I saw Jim O'Callaghan, our supposedly intelligent Fianna Fáil minister, who is now the Minister for Justice. He, first of all, in one video blamed a UK influencer, Tommy Robinson. He said that the farmers and the farming contractors are being influenced by this guy in England. I would say not one farmer or farming contractor knows who Tommy Robinson is, first of all. But our supposedly intelligent Minister for Justice said that they were all out on the streets because of this Tommy Robinson. And then he came out and said another piece, which I'm going to play for you, which is extremely worrying and shocking.
Well, of course, there are going to be legal consequences. They mightn't arise today or tomorrow, but people have licenses to drive vehicles. Those licenses will be affected. In terms of insurance, any insurance coverage, I suspect, will be void as a result of the owner of the equipment deciding to voluntarily get involved in such illegal activity. So there will be legal consequences down the road. But what I'm here to do is to try to appeal to people to stop these protests. They need to recognise that they've made their point, and now they're simply inflicting damage on Ireland and the Irish people.
So what do you think of that, guys? He has threatened the very men who put the food on our tables and get the fuel to the pumps and keep this country going, keep the supermarkets going, keep the children going to school, the school meals program, keep all that rolling. The hauliers, the farmers, the farming contractors, he threatened that he would take away their licenses and insurance. The two things that these men and women need to run their lives, to run their business, and to feed their children, and to keep all of us going, all of us in food and fuel, he said he was going to take away. Hardworking Irish men and women take away their licenses when at the same time there are people waltzing through Dublin Airport right now, coming in, foreign people with no license, ID or passport. And this is what the Irish have to put up with right now in 2026. It is a scandal. And they throw 10 cent, measly 10 cent at us. We know the cost of IPAS. The IPAS system was 2.1 billion last year alone. It's 206,000 euro every single hour, 24/7. That's €250,000, nearly €250,000 on these IPAS residents, accommodation, driving lessons, taxiing them everywhere, here, there and everywhere, all their food, all their electricity, all their fuel paid for. And he throws us 10 cent. We know money is not the issue because they have a magic money tree there. We know that because money is not an issue. They built a bike shelter, not even a shed, a bike shelter for €336,000. They brought Ukrainian dogs over at costing €1 million per month for the transport and the dog shelter, the dog hotels they were in. 1 million. We know money's not the issue. So what is the issue? The issue is that these politicians do not serve the people. They are serving the European Union, the globalists, Ursula von der Leyen, and the UN, and these international obligations that they keep yapping on about. That is the issue. And it looks like every single person has woken up to it. And now the game is on. And if you think that Labour or Social Democrats or People Before Profit or Sinn Féin are the answer, they are not. And it looks like the people have woken up to that too, which is absolutely fantastic. Sinn Féin were not there when the people of East Wall, Mary Lou MacDonald was not there when the people of East Wall wanted her, when she could have helped. And why is that? Because Sinn Féin are on the same agenda as the government. They are totally for carbon tax and climate change and mass immigration and the gender ideology and all of these globalist policies that the government are for. So they are not changed. And as I said, the people have woken up because there was another little protest yesterday after all the shenanigans in the Whitegate refinery. As I said, the riot squad were brought out and there was pepper spray, and I think a 13 or 14-year-old boy was pepper sprayed. It's not on. It's outrageous and it's a scandal. But people voiced their concerns yesterday as well, and they came out on the streets. And David Cullinan, who is a Sinn Féin TD, came out too. And you see, Sinn Féin have seen now where the votes are and where the wind has changed. And now they want to claim to be kings of this protest and kings of Ireland. And look at the reaction David Cullinan got from the crowd.
First of all, thanks everybody for coming along. Thanks everybody for coming along today. Nothing to do with you. Vast majority of people here.
Don't do anything. Hey, lawyer, you're a lawyer.
You brought in the car. You brought in the parmesan.
Walk your shit. 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 Okay, fucking out. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Keep your carbon tax. Ready? Joy goes. Hang on.
Come on, lads. The guy. That's good now. That was good now.
That is going viral.
So did I.
Wait.
It is a peaceful communication.
Fraser, go home. You're not wanted.
There you go. They're not the answer. And another couple of towns as well, Sinn Féin, I think Cork, Sinn Féin and Portlaoise. They got the works yesterday morning because they're not the answer, and everybody knows they're not the answer. There's a vote of no confidence in the Dáil, I think, tomorrow, and I can pretty much say it'll probably fail on a couple of votes, probably the independents that supposedly represent the people that were voted in as an independent, but now they're in bed with the government, the people like the Healy Rays who haven't been seen last week to stand with the farming community, Marion Harkin here in Sligo. These people were voted in as independents and now they are in bed with the government, and I don't think they are going to go with this no confidence vote because that will be them consigned to history. So I think we are stuck with the government we have right now, guys, but we know that the people have the power and it's absolutely fantastic to see. And I'm going to play you a little thing that really made me just so happy the other day when I saw this. A fantastic, the Dubliner, people that went to Dublin in the walking protest now in support of the hauliers and the contractors. Just unbelievable. I'll play this for you. Now, fantastic stuff. And that's it. In the end, the people win. We need to get organized. We have no political party really that we are all in line with. It's shattered. The whole political movement of the people is shattered, and that's what needs to come together now. And you need intelligent people to sit around a table and work it out. And I know that the people will vote for that alternative. So for now, I'm going to be here to bring you all the news and views from X that RTE won't bring you. But if you'd like to set up an account on X, it's very simple to do. Get it, follow me, and you will be awake in a split second. And thank you for joining me. Like and share this video, share the information in it, and I'll see you at the next one if I don't see you at a protest in the meantime. Take care, guys. See you soon. Bye.